Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the all-new 2022 Chevy Silverado 1500. We have quite a few updates since our last video, so we're going to get into everything that we know so far, and with all that being said, let's just get straight into the video. So I just recently posted a video on the 2022 GMC Sierra 1500, and so there's a lot of carryover from that video to this video, so I'm not going to spend as much time on the information because again we already kind of went over that with the Sierra video. But anyways, we are going to have a heavy refresh for the 2022 model year with the Silverado. It's not technically a full redesign, but it's again a very heavy refresh. So there's some slight changes to the exterior of the truck to make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, is basically what Chevy is telling us, and that's not really the exciting part. The exciting part first off has to go to the powertrain. So we're still getting most of the powertrains. They are axing the V6 powertrain, and then on top of axing the V6 powertrain, they are increasing the power outputs for the turbo 4-cylinder, and so apparently they're going to make that powertrain a little bit more responsive from the engine perspective and also from the transmission perspective, so it should just be better overall. Sad thing for me is I've never driven a Silverado with the 4-cylinder, so I don't even know how the previous version drove, and hopefully I'll have a chance to drive this version so I can tell you guys if it's even worth it to get a 4-cylinder in a truck. Now, aside from the engine updates, we are getting a new package with the Silverado that I've made a whole standalone video on, and that is the Zr2 package. It's basically a super beefed up version of the Trail Boss. It still has 33-inch tires, it's got multi-matic shocks, and it's not quite a Raptor competitor. It's kind of more of an in-between a Trail Boss and, you know, what would be Chevy's version of the Raptor. And judging by the starting price of GMC's AT4X, which is just the rebadged version of the Zr2, that starts at $75,000 before any type of add-ons or anything. And so I'm guessing that the Zr2 is going to start in the mid-60s, which is kind of sad because that's about the same starting price as what you have with a Ford Raptor that starts at, you know, $65,000. And of course, a zipper always, every single time, he always gets in the way. But moving on from the Zr2 package to the interior, we're going to get a new infotainment system that's over 13 inches. There is a full 12-inch digital gauge cluster as well that you're going to be able to get. You will also be able to get Super Cruise with the new Silverado. However, that's only available on the High Country package for now, not on any other package. And then they are kind of revamping the interior, and this is the most important part because this is what people have complained about with the Silverado, is that the interior is just not quite nice enough. So what they're doing is they're going to use nicer materials in the higher end packages. They're going to use more of those nicer materials as well, and you guys will see with the pictures here that the interior from a design perspective just looks a whole lot better overall. So I think that that is a huge positive. And then moving on from that, if you guys are wondering where these updates are actually applying, it's to the LT package and above. Apparently, trucks that are below the LT package are not really going to change all that much for the 2022 model year, which is kind of sad, but you know, it is what it is. And so if you're getting a work truck or, you know, like a Trail Boss Custom, it sounds like those are going to be identical interior-wise as to what they were for the 2021 model year. And yeah, those are all the updates that are happening. Like I said, super similar to what you're getting with GMC, but with all that being said, let's quickly get into the opinion section. So let's get into the opinion section. First off, I'm really excited for these changes with the Silverado. I think it's a huge positive. They're finally addressing my complaints with the truck, which was the interior. I never really complained about the technology because I feel like the technology was, you know, pretty much up to par with the other manufacturers, but having a nicer looking interior and the nicer interior materials I think is really positive. Sad that it's not going to be in the baseline packages, but I understand why they're not doing that, because they're going to want to keep those packages less expensive. All these changes are obviously going to increase the price of all the other packages, which is something that I need to talk about, right? The price of the Silverado is going to go up quite a bit with all of these new add-ons, and so just kind of understand it's not going to be as competitive from a price point perspective as it was before. Now, moving on from that, again, compared to the competition, it sounds like the Silverado is really going to be neck and neck with Ford and with Ram, and Toyota's obviously bringing stuff up for the 2022 model year, and so it sounds like Toyota's going to be in the fight. I guess that Nissan is the odd man out at this point. The new Titan's really nice, but it definitely has more of an analog feel, and it's going to feel pretty dated compared to the other trucks considering all the updates that they have had over the last few years. Again, especially with the stuff that they're doing with GM's products and then with Ford as well. Now, I know a lot of people are going to want me to compare this to, obviously, GMC because it's the sibling vehicle. Here's what I have to say. So first off, I wish that Chevy would offer Super Cruise in other packages, because I know that there's people that want that feature, but they don't want to buy a High Country. There's people that want to get, an LT, or maybe even the work truck version, and they want to have the self-driving capability. And so I hope that GM eventually offers that as like a standalone package. I don't know how much that would cost, but I think that they can manage, even if it's, pretty expensive, like it's a $4,000, $5,000 package. I think if people really want it, they would go for it. And again, maybe they don't want to buy the High Country, or maybe they want to have something like a Trail Boss, an off-road package, but still have Super Cruise because they want that self-driving when they're driving out to the trails, right? But moving from that to the GMC version, here's what I have to say. Obviously, you guys know I'm a fan of GMC's styling. I think it looks a little bit nicer than Chevy's styling, but the vehicles look pretty much identical. Like, looking at the interior shots of like the High Country and of the Zr2 and all that stuff, the higher end packages, and comparing that to the Denali Ultimate and their AT4X, the truck interiors pretty much look the same, similar to what we have right now with the Trail Boss versus the AT4 and the Denali versus the High Country, except the Chevy version is significantly less expensive. And so I think that the Chevy's still going to be the route to go for, because you're still going to be able to get all of the technology. You're going to have the nicer interior. You're just not going to have the GMC exterior styling, but again, it's going to be significantly less money. It's usually like a price difference of $5,000 to $10,000 too, so it's not like it's an amount of money that's like negligible. It's like, that's a lot of money. Think about what you could do with that $5,000 to $10,000. So I'm actually a little bit more excited for the Silverado version, even though I like how the GMC looks a little bit more. It's just going to be the better value with all the packages. But I guess I will also say on the Zr2 side of things, I'm a little bit disappointed. Same thing with the AT4X at the pricing. I think that they aren't priced to be, or they aren't competitively priced with what they actually are, right? Again, it's not a true Ford Raptor Ram TRX competitor, but they're asking Ford Raptor Ram TRX money for those trucks. And so I think that that's a little bit of a misstep. It needs to be kind of more in between, where it's a little bit more expensive than a Trail Boss or an AT4, right? But it's not so much more. Like, it's like $15,000 is the price difference, which is just absolutely crazy to me, to where people are now, again, they're going to be cross-shopping those packages with Raptors and with TRXs, and there's a big difference between those trucks because, again, active shocks and all that kind of stuff that goes into it. And so, yeah, I think that's the one misstep, is, I guess, the pricing with some of that. And then also, like, the high-end packages, like the High Country, doesn't seem like it's too bad. It's going to be in like the $70,000 range for a more loaded-up version, which competes with the Limited. But, like, on the GMC side of things, with the Denali Ultimate that's over $80,000, it's like, wow, it's a half-ton. It's pretty crazy. But, people will buy them, and we'll see what happens with everything. But yep, that's everything with the new Silverado. If you're shopping for the first time, please subscribe, and I'll see all of you guys in that next video.